What jewels?
Diamonds.
Right? And what symbols or emblems? Is that a cross I see?
Yes.
And what is the other one?
It says slow.
It says what?
Slow.
All right. Now, read the post at the bottom, please. Starting with underscore slug.
Underscore one slow. Bust down roller came from third. You know it's real love. Or whatever little baby said.
All right. And thug, that's defendant Jeffrey Williams.
Yes.
All right. And so what are you wearing on your left wrist?
A watch.
What kind of watch?
A Rolex watch.
Do you know how much that watch was worth?
Yeah, I know how much it's worth.
How much?
About 4 or 5 grand.
Thank you. I'm going to now show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 14 uniform. And it is a video. And I'll ask you, as we provided it as well to counsel for the defense, and they were here for it as well.
I'd like to confess your memory for 14.
I sent a copy to it, it's in your email.
Approach, Your Honor.
Give me.
So I'm going to have one. Oh, here, let's go. Let's go and see. Okay. Okay. Do you recognize the people who are captured in this video?
Yes.
And are you one of the people who are present in the video?
Yes.
All right. And I'm gonna scroll all the way to the end. And do you see yourself in the video?
Yes.
Is this a video of,
I stand the question.
do you recognize what this video footage is of?
Yes.
Is it a fair and accurate depiction of the images that are displayed within?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state tender State's Exhibit 14 uniform as evidence.
Any objection to State's 14 uniform?
Yes, sir.
Basis.
Just provided a moment ago at 9:01.
How long is the video?
Your Honor, the video, and if the court will permit, I will bring the computer up to show what the court what it is.
How long is it?
It is a 28-minute video of the defendant's,
I served in discovery, and I'd like to review it. I've never seen it.
every person in here was present when it was filmed, so I'm
I
going
mean, it was what, I'm sorry?
to film.
It's not true.
And Your Honor, I would just like to show the court what it is, rather than.
Okay.
I'd like to look at it.
All right, you can, but I'm gonna look at it and see what other action I need to take. If anyone wants to come up, that's fine. Hold on.
So Your Honor, the state tenders State's 14 uniform evidence.
All right, is that your only objection?
Yes, I have not seen it. I'd like time to see it. It's not the official record. I don't know where it came from. To my knowledge, no one was here when that happened. 0 people. When Ms. Love said aye or nay.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, 28 minutes and 44 seconds, and Your Honor, if the court would like, I can state for the record what it is, since I'm asking that it be in the.
I would object.
Can you all come on, let's take one representative. One representative, please.
Look like they just find the evidence as they go, man. They know they gotta show that shit before the trial starts.
times or, unforeseen, I'm gonna have to take just a brief recess and let you retire to your headquarters. So I'm thinking we'll recess until 11 o'clock and then we'll bring you back in and we'll continue, okay? Thank you for your patience in advance, all right? Remember my admonitions to you. All rise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our jury has left us. You can be seated, please.
I have a question, since we are recessing. May I play the video for the court while defense counsel is looking for, so that the court has an opportunity to look?
I was there, remember? So, I don't necessarily need it at this point in time. I can, if you wanna, once it's played, I'm not saying I won't, but if you wanna invite my attention to a specific portion,
Hi, I'm David Moss. When it comes to servicing your vehicle, Moss Nissan is simply the best. You'll notice the difference the moment you walk through our door. Our team is like family, and we look forward to treating you like part of our family. With our state-of-the-art service facility and factory-trained technicians, we are more than equipped to service all make and models. Plus, with our extended service hours, pickup and drop-off service, you can have your vehicle serviced according to your schedule, not ours. Experience a difference today. Moss Nissan, whatever it takes.
Towards you so that quicker. You know what I'm saying? That's fair. I got it all. I got my card extra copies. So you just one thing I need you to know is I got a job. 5 for 11 or whether I did it 29. 29 is missing? The photo is here. Oh, I don't want to collect the photos that are exciting. I got you. That's all.
All right, for jurors.
Sure to say this is the okay. This is crazy. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. Ladies and gentlemen, of the jury, we're going to pause with a testimony of Mr. Stevens. And then we're going to take another witness and then we'll resume him. This is proper within the court and the party's discretion just to give the next witness who has a time deadline on a personal matter, okay? All right, so who's the state's next witness?
Your Honor, the state calls Miss Helena Dixon.
All right, summon Miss Dixon, please.
Act 61.
Miss Dixon, good morning, madam. Come on up. Once you get to the witness stand, before you sit down, if you would turn and face Sergeant Ingram, you're sworn as a witness.
Raise your right hand. This is my first testimony to give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Have a seat.
Miss Dixon, speak directly in the microphone so we can all hear you, okay? Pull your chair up as close as you can to the mic.
Okay,
And speak into it so we can all hear you, okay?
sure.
All right, wonderful.
Helena Dixon.
Good morning, Miss Dixon.
Good morning.
Let me know, or if you're able to try your best to speak in that microphone, man.
Okay.
So back in May of 2016, where did you live?
I lived at 245 Amal Drive.
Was that 245 Amal Drive?
Yes,
And what city is that in?
Atlanta.
And what is it, a house, a townhouse, an apartment?
Condos.
And when did you first move to 245 Amal Drive?
That was in February of 2015.
And who lived there with you?
My son,
And back in 2016, how old was your son?
he was about 8 or 9.
And did you ever get to know any neighbors in that location?
Only a few of them.
Did you
Just
ever
by seeing them.
just seeing them out and about?
Yes,
Did you ever know someone named Miss Terravia Hill?
I did.
And how did you know her?
We passed in the neighborhood and I was able to see her and we would speak all the time.
And was her condo close to yours or far away?
It was about 3 doors down from me.
Now, turning your attention to May 11th of 2016,
Okay.
can you describe, back in May 11, 2016, how did your day start that day?
It was a normal day. I took my son to school and went about my business, but I had to pick my son up. Normally every day, about 2:30, we would get back home about 3, a little after 3.
Now, at the time, where was your son going to school?
He was over in Decatur at the Barack Obama Elementary School.
And how would he typically get to school?
I had to take him every day.
And that day, did you take him to school?
I did.
And after you dropped him off, what did you do next?
I ran a couple of errands and then I went to work.
And did you ever come and pick him up after work from school?
Yes, I had to pick him up.
What time would you typically have to come pick him up?
We had to pick up our kids around 2:30. And it typically take me about maybe 15 or 25 minutes to get back home.
And on May 11, 2016, you go to school and pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
And did y'all head straight home or did you stop anywhere on the way back?
So we head straight home.
Now, when you got home, do you recall around what time it was that you got back to your condo?
When I pulled my bag in it had to be a little after 3, no later than 3:15.
And would it have been daylight?
Yes.
Now, at 245 Mall Drive, how was the parking lot set up? Like, did you have assigned parking spaces? Could you park anywhere?
No, we had a side parking.
And do you remember where you would park your car?
And yes, I had a side parking 9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
And how far was your front door from where you parked your car?
Just a short distance because when you get out, you just walk down a small sidewalk.
I'm going to show you, Ms. Dixon, State's Exhibits 5 Victor through 10 Victor. And if any defense counsel, I'm happy to share. This is coming in later while y'all are up here. This is complex. It's one night. Somewhat similar, but I don't think the specific location has been seen. And then 29 is a picture of
Trying to get that in.
That's right here.
because she had a baby yesterday, and so get her face to her name.
Just open the picture.
But I understand if y'all object. I just want to show y'all that. Yeah, still listening.
Not just.
She had a baby. She had a baby.
She's coming.
Yes.
Well, she's recovered.
And he's not getting any statements, just a picture.
Yeah, of course.
You need her picture. If she's going to do this.
I'm gonna attempt to introduce it. Understand objections 29 Victor.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Your Honor, permission to approach?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, ma'am, I handed you State's Exhibits 5 Victor to 10 Victor. Can you take a couple minutes and just look through those? And when you're done, just look up at me, ma'am. Okay. What are those?
This is the unit, this is the complex where we were living in at that time.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of where you were residing back on May 11th, 2016?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state needs to introduce State's Exhibits 5 Victor through 10 Victor into evidence.
Any objection, states 5 Victor through 10 Victor?
No, see, no objection.
All right, states 5 Victor through 10 Victor are admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor. Publishing State's Exhibit 5 Victor. So ma'am, as you were describing, do you see where you would park your vehicle depicted in 5 Victor?
Yes.
And where would that be?
And 5 and 7. Where is about the numbers?
Correct. And I have published State's Exhibit 5 Victor in relation to that black Chevy and that kind of gold car. Where would your parking spot have been that day?
Next to the gold car.
Would it have been to the left or right?
It would have been to the left of that car.
Okay. In spot 9?
Yes.
And did you typically, in this day, did you pull in or did you back?
I backed in.
Would you typically back your car in?
Yes.
And in the car, where would your son have been seated? Would it have been in the passenger, the back seat?
It would have been in the passenger, the back seat that particular day.
And you picked him up, you came back here and backed in. What happened next?
Well, while I had my bag in, my son was getting out. I noticed that Ms. Hill had pulled into the parking spot she normally parks in. She pulled in, but I noticed another car just drive pretty fast into behind that car. But I hadn't really got out, but my door was open to get out. And I was reaching for my purse. And I happened to just hear a person say, just get out and say, give me your purse and give me your keys. And it happened so fast, but I was able to hear that person say what they said.
And Ms. Dixon, I'm publishing State's Exhibit 70.
Yes.
Where would your spot is your spot where that black Chevy is?
Yes.
Where would Ms. Hill's parking? And so you said you pulled in, and did you see, was Ms. Hill there when you first pulled up, or did she come in after?
She came in a little bit after me because she had fully got out of her car. Her and her daughter was headed towards her door.
And did these the individuals who approached Ms. Hill, they come out of the car, were they on foot?
No, they came out of the car.
And where did that car come from? And this is depicted in 7B.
It would have came left
to right or right to left in that photo?
That's within, if it's facing you, it would have been it would have been from my left and then maybe your right.
Would it go from the black Chevy to the blue Mercedes?
Yes.
Okay.
It would have been facing in that direction.
Do you remember anything about that car?
I just noticed that it was a tan, brown, like, I know it was a light color car. It was either brown or tan or white.
Had you ever seen that car before?
No.
And after you saw that car, how many people did you see get out of it?
One person got out.
And did you see anything in their hands?
I saw he had his hand out, so I assumed that he had a gun because she was so nervous and she just started crying.
Who was the objector?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can wait.
All right, thank you.
That's the same.
Ms. Dixon, when
All right, ladies and gentlemen, disregard the last statement in regards to I thought, okay? All right.
ma'am, when the suspect approached Ms. Hill and told her to give him her things, what was her physical reaction that you personally observed?
She was so nervous and frightened to the fact that when she came, she just walked close to her. By that time, they had got her car. That person had got the car, and the other car went behind that car. And she walked up to me, and she was shaking so bad. She was just really upset and frightened.
And what was your reaction upon seeing this?
I was completely shocked because I was standing there as well, and I don't know why they. I mean, her car and my car was not that far from each other.
Had anything like that happened since you lived at 245 Mall Drive?
No, sir.
I stand the objection. Ladies and gentlemen, disregard the witness's last answer.
And did this individual who came out of the car, did he have on a full face cover?
No,
Did he have on a mask?
I didn't see it.
Did he do anything to conceal his identity?
No,
And where was Miss Hill's daughter when this happened?
she was near the handicap sign, the pole where the sign is. The handicap, she was right there because her door was right there in front of that.
And you said the two vehicles left. Was one of those vehicles, was it or was it not Miss Hill's car?
One of them was her car, so they took her car.
And did she, was 911 or police ever notified?
Yes,
And whose phone was used to call 911?
my phone.
And was it yourself or Miss Hill who called 911?
I called because she was so upset.
And how quickly did it take them to respond?
I want to say it wasn't long, but it was not. It could have been about maybe 20 or 30 minutes.
Were you able to see anyone else or have any idea of who else that you saw in terms of numbers of people in that car?
It could have been a total of 4. It was a lot of people in that car. It was not just one individual.
And when I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 8B. Is your condo depicted in State's Exhibit 8B? And where would Miss Hill's apartment be? Condo.
It would have been on the front sidewalk and by the patio.
Is that in front of parking spot 7 or 8?
In part of 7.
And when the cars took off, what is on the other side of this curve, Ms. Dixon? Is that on State's Exhibit 9B?
That's a driveway going out of the condominium property.
And I'm going to show you, ma'am, and I think it's actually already up there. Do you have State's Exhibit 11, Victor?
Yes.
What is that, ma'am?
It looks like a map of the area.
Is it a fair and accurate depiction of the map where you, Ms. Hill, resided?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender State's Exhibit 11, Victor.
Any objection to case 11 Victor?
No.
All right, state 11 Victor is admitted and may be charged as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor. Publishing State's Exhibit 11, Victor. Now, in relation to that red pinpoint in 11 Victor, ma'am, do you see the entrances for where you all reside?
Yes.
Can you kind of indicate where those are?
One entrance where the red mark is, that's one entrance to the left of there, and then the other entrance, like it goes around in the curve, a U, and then you can go out near those trees, set of trees as well. So it's 2 ways in, 2 ways out.
And Ms. Dixon, I'm going to try, there's a pointer I have over here on this easel, Your Honor. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you can, Ms. Dixon, could you use this pointer to indicate the 2 entrances to 245 Mall Drive?
This is entrance here, and there's an entrance there, coming off of Prior. So you can easily turn here. This is normally how we would come in, and then there's a light there, and then you can come in that way, but it's a whole circle. to go back out.
In which entrance, did the suspect vehicle enter?
This way. And then go around, and then this is where we are. They went out that way. I'm assuming they went that way.
And which of those buildings was where you reside, ma'am?
My building would have been here,
And where was Ms. Hills?
here.
Thank you, ma'am. And after, were you able to make out any description of the suspect that came out of the vehicle, old, young?
That person was a young person. I don't know. I can't say they were older, but I know they had to be maybe older than 17, but younger than 25, I guess.
And what was their demographics?
Meaning, were they black or white?
Yes, ma'am.
I was a black person.
And when the police got there, did you stay with or Ms. Hill?
Yes,
And did you stay with her for, how long were you with her after this all happened that day?
that day, about 45 minutes.
And when, after this incident, did Ms. Hill remain your neighbor at 245 Mall Drive?
No, she moved,
What happened?
she moved very quickly.
How quickly,
Maybe 3 or 4 weeks after that, she did not stay.
when the suspect that got out of that tan vehicle approached Ms. Hill, did you see him get out of the vehicle?
I did.
What side of the car did he get out of?
I got at the back side on the drop behind the driver.
And how close was Ms. Hill to that vehicle when he got out of it?
She had just got out of her car and she pulled in so that she had just stepped up on the sidewalk.
Using State's Exhibit 7 Victor as a reference point, you look at 7 Victor, man, would and car, where would that have been in relation to the black Chevy and blue Mercedes?
It blocked her in, so she couldn't get out if she had to pull out.
And how quickly was Ms. Hill approached?
Very quickly, because it happened so fast.
And did you see her give anything to that?
She just had she had her purse and her keys in her, she just gave it to him.
And how quickly after she gave them her purse and keys did they leave?
They left right away.
And do you wear any contacts or eyeglasses?
No,
And you were able to see this suspect that got out of the vehicle?
yes.
And were you able to make out any other descriptions of any of the individuals that were inside of that tan car?
Just that it seemed that it was just too crowded in the car. That's why I noticed the car. It just were a lot of heads in the car.
Were you able to see any mask or concealment of the individuals that were inside of that tan car?
No.
One brief moment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
And ma'am, did any of the suspects you saw do anything to conceal their identity that day?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions. All right, cross it.
James. Yes. Yes.
Ms. Dixon,
Yes.
good morning. Actually, good afternoon at this point. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I am doing good. You and I have never met before, is that right?
That's right.
All right. My name is Keith Adams. I represent Mr. Williams. Do you know who Jeffrey Williams is?
I do.
Okay. You see him in his courtroom, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you know him as an entertainer?
Yes.
All right. It is fair to say, it is true that prior to coming in here today or back in 2016, you have no information, no reason to, you've not been told, you don't have any reason to believe that Jeffrey Williams has anything whatsoever to do with that, what you observed back in 2016. Isn't that true?
Objection, Your Honor. This is speculation. Sustained.
All right. Do you have any factual, personal knowledge that Jeffrey Williams had anything to do with that incident that we're talking about from 8 years ago back in 2016?
No.
All right. So let's start there. You were unfortunately a witness to a carjacking back in May of 2016 that you just talked about, true?
Yes.
You lived at that location. You, if I heard you correctly, you had gone about essentially your regular day's business. You'd done some running around, you dropped off your child, you picked up your child, and you came back home, true?
True.
All right. Taravia Hill is your neighbor. That's the woman who, unfortunately, was the victim of that robbery, right?
Yes.
And you come back, you don't expect, and you're certainly not anticipating that you're going to see anything like what you saw on that day.
Correct.
You pulled up, and I know you described a little while ago where you were parked and where Miss Hill's car pulled up, right?
Yes.
And another car pulls up, blocking her car in.
Yes.
That car has multiple individuals in it, as you described, right?
Correct.
I think the words that you used were, they were kind of crowded up, or it looked like more people than should have been in that car.
Yes.
Okay. Someone gets out of the back of that vehicle, the back driver's side of the vehicle, right? And that is the person that you saw go up to Miss Hill's vehicle.
Correct.
You'd never seen that person before.
Never seen that person.
Looks like a young person.
Yeah.
All right. African-American young man.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't see a gun or anything like that in the person's hand.
There was something there because it frightened her so bad that she literally just was shaking.
Okay. Could have been, but you didn't actually see a gun in that person's hand, right?
It's been so long, but I can't say I didn't. I can't say there was one there.
Okay. All right. And in fact, I'm gonna jump forward a little bit. You actually gave a statement to the police on that day, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. Now, you're watching this unfold, and you see Miss Hill get out of the car, and this guy go up to her and demand her keys in her car, right?
Correct.
All right. There are a bunch of guys in the other car, the car that pulled up, but none of them got out.
No, only one person got out.
And let me back up and correct myself. I said a bunch of guys, a bunch of people.
Yes.
Right? And you were not able to see with any certainty, specificity. You can identify the descriptions of the people in that car.
No.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb, and you tell me if I'm right, that you're a pretty observant person.
I am.
Okay. You're attentive to detail, I would guess. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. And so you see this young guy get out, take Miss Hill's car, and he drives off in the car.
He had to wait till the other car he got out pull off first, but he did drive.
And then he followed the car out.
Yes.
Obviously and understandably, Miss Hill and her child appear to be pretty shaken up from what had just happened, right?
Correct.
If you had to describe the guy that you saw take her car, would you describe him as kind of a heavyset person?
No, that person was not a heavyset person.
Okay, were they tall, short?
Medium, maybe about 5'9".
Okay,
Wasn't too short.
okay. So 5'9"-ish, Brown complexion, light complexion, if you had to?
That was a brown complexion.
Okay, all right. You'd never seen that person before, right? You never saw that person anytime after that?
No.
Okay. You spoke to the police on that day?
Correct.
And you gave them a statement telling them exactly what you saw?
Yes.
What you told them, I would guess, and again, as always, you correct me if I'm wrong, is exactly what you've just told this jury today, what you saw, right?
Correct.
Okay. There was no point, before I get there, you didn't see either the person getting out of the car or anyone in the car. You didn't hear them say anything specific other than the guy who said, give me your keys, give me your car.
Correct.
Okay.
No one else said anything.
There wasn't any yelling back and forward from the guy who was doing what he was doing to the guys in the car.
No.
Okay. You didn't see anyone making any gestures or throwing up any signs or anything like that?
No.
Okay. What you were observing, and I hate to say it, but it was kind of, ordinary is not the right word, but it was a carjacking. You saw someone being carjacked, right?
That's what I saw.
That's the crime that you were observing at that point.
At that point.
Right. A singular individual,
Correct.
with other people in the other car, taking that woman's car.
Correct.
No indication as to what it was about other than a car theft, right?
That's all I thought that day.
Okay. Now, moving forward after you speak to the police,
Correct.
were you ever contacted at any time after that? Now, we're talking, this is 2016, May of 2016, right?
Correct.
Were you ever contacted any time after that by the police to show you a lineup or to come make an identification or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Were you ever contacted by the police at any time after that to give any further statements or any addendums or additions to your statement? Anything like that ever happened?
No.
Okay. Did you ever have to come to court? Besides today, were you ever called upon to come to court for any sort of testimony or anything like that?
This is the first. That was the first.
Okay. So if we're in 2016, right, for the incident, and today we're in 2024, is it fair to say that the first time you hear anything about this incident after 2016 is what, maybe a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to presume, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, you get a call from the DA's office in regards to what you saw back in 2016.
Correct.
Okay. You don't know anyone in this courtroom, do you?
No, not personally.
Okay. You don't have any personal knowledge, you yourself, personal knowledge that anybody sitting in any one of these seats, anywhere in this courtroom, had anything whatsoever to do with what happened in May of 2016, do you?
No.
All right. All right. Ms. Dixon, thank you. That's all I got.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Reader? No, Your Honor. Anybody else?
Okay, may Ms. Dixon be permanently or temporarily excused?
She may be permanently excused, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Dixon, thank you for your patience with us. Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
And I'm going to permanently excuse you as a witness, so don't discuss your testimony to anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I get you to be back in your headquarters for 1:30, please? Okay, and we may have to take up some other additional matters, but if you could just be present for 1:30, and then we'll call for you. Okay? Sound fair enough? All right. Remember the admonitions I've given you, and we will see you all after lunch. Okay? All right. All rise. All right, please be seated. Our jury has left us. Okay. Folks, I'd like you all to come back for 115. Mr. Short, at that point in time, I'll hear any supplemental argument as it pertains to Mr. Stevens. So, Ms. Gladden, where are you?
I believe it's outside with Mr. Stevens.
Okay, all right.
I'll go get it.
Could you please, sir, Ms. Atkins, thank you. Where's your client? I just want.
Standing outside.
Yes, please, thank you. Mr. Stevens, I was just going to release you and Ms. Gladden for lunch and have you come back for 1:30, okay? All right, see you then, okay? All right. All right, councils, we'll come back at 1:20 and take up, as I said, Mr. Sharp's supplemental.
Hey there, I'm Jesse Weber, and thanks for watching the Young Thug trial here at Long Crime, where we bring you live coverage of high-profile trials and individuals accused of committing some pretty terrible crimes. I'll tell you one thing. It's a stark reminder that the world isn't always the safest place. Well, that is why I want to shine a light on this week's trial coverage sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. When you're injured, figuring out what to do next can be pretty overwhelming. That's where Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, comes in. A whopping 3 million people turn to them every year. And their process is a game changer. Picture this. You submit your claim, you sign contracts, you upload documents, you communicate with your whole legal team, all from your phone. It's that simple. And what's even more impressive, an attorney reviews your case in just 8 clicks. That speed is remarkable. You submit a claim, they start fighting for you. And if you're concerned about costs, well, you only pay them if you win. There's no upfront fee. So if you're ever injured in an accident or at work, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. You can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less by visiting forthepeople.com/youngthug.